Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, when it comes to putting together sets, there is no definition of what a set is. A set is what you make it. There is no checklist. The only checklist you're ever going to find is one of everything. Okay, well, it's up to you to carve out what you consider the sets to be. Is a set one of every $1 bill ever made? Sure. Is a set of one of every $1 silver certificate ever made? Sure, that's a different set. Is a set of every $1 silver certificate that's a small size note? Is that a set? Sure. Is every signature combination for a particular note, is that a set? Sure. You can break down notes into any way you want to form sets. It's interesting though when you start going through your collection and start realizing how close you are to coming to completing some of these sets without actually realizing that you were that close. I found that I was one note off of a set, so I decided to hunt down that note and got it for a great price because no one else was hunting for that note. So I was able to complete a set. So look through your stuff and see how close you are to completing sets. There's always a great feeling about doing that. If you're a coin collector, when you get to put in that last coin in the book, it's a good feeling. I'm not a coin collector, so I have to create my own sets, and yeah, I completed a set with today's note. All right, so let's get these out of the way and take a look at what I found this week. Starting off, found another birthday note. It's backwards, 2015, December 7th, or some people will call it the 12th of July. It's got writing on it. If I was to find my birthday in that order, I'd be excited about it, but I wouldn't be paying money for it. Let's see. Got an alternator. One alternates. You got 1 8, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5. I don't think there's any value there either. I just think it's neat. Let's see. This was interesting to me. Okay. This is a trinary. Trinaries have no additional value. I will say that forever because they don't. You can find them. You can go to the bank and find trinaries. Every time you go get a strap, you're going to find some trinaries. So they aren't rare. They aren't hard to find. But this particular trinary is 7s, 8s, and 9s. Okay. Now, there are people trying to tell you that if you find a trinary, maybe I should back it up. If you find a binary, okay, a note that's only got two different digits, and those notes are zeros and ones, that is a true binary because that's a representation of the binary code, zeros and ones. So if this was all zeros and ones, you'd have a true binary. Well, that comes from the binary code. Then there are charlatans that will try to tell you that if you have a trinary that is zeros, ones, and twos, that's a true trinary. Why? There is no trinary code of zeros, ones, and twos. Zeros, ones, and twos doesn't mean anything. People will say, oh no, it's the lowest numbers you can get. That's why. How stupid are you? You don't understand that zeros, ones, and twos are the lowest number you can get? I do understand that, but it doesn't mean anything. Just like with this note, it's 7s, 8s, and 9s. These are the highest numbers you can get. Shouldn't that be equally as rare as zeros, ones, and twos? If anything, this would be more rare because you can't have it start with 9, 9 or 9, 8 or 9, 7. So there are even fewer of the trinaries that are 7s, 8s, and 9s. So for all of you people saying that there's such a thing as a true trinary, which there isn't, and there's such a thing as it being worth more money, I ask you again, why? Because this is the other end of the spectrum, and it's actually more rare, and it's still worthless. So if you are buying true trinaries, stop it. If you are telling people that true trinaries are a thing, stop it. Your rationale makes no sense because here's the other end of the spectrum that should be worth even more, but it's not. All right. Let's see. More trinaries. 2s, 4s, and 8s. 0s, 1s, and 8s. That one just so close to a true binary, but it's not. Threes, fours, and sixes, zeros, twos, and threes, and zeros, fours, and sevens, twos, threes, and sixes. This one's zeros, fives, and eights, and yeah, there's six of a kind on there, but it's not 6 in a row. If it was 6 in a row, maybe, but it's not. So what does that make this? That makes it close to being worth money. This would be a great placeholder. If you don't have 6 of a kind, then yeah, you put this in the spot for 6, or if you don't have 6 in a row, you put this one in there until you find 6 in a row. But once you find 6 in a row, then you take this note out and you spend it because it's not worth anything. Ones, fives, and nines. I can't believe I'm still going on with trinaries. There we go. Now we finally get to quads. Quads, same thing as trinaries. They have no additional value. I collect them trying to match pairs because I have fun with my hobby. And you should too. But you shouldn't spend money on worthless stuff. Go out and look for it. Take all the money you were going to spend buying these, take it to the bank, and just get a bunch of singles and look through them. That way it doesn't cost you anything. Quad threes on this one, quad fours, quad sixes. See, here's another one. It's got 3 ones, it's got a 3, and it's got 4 sixes. So what? People are going to tell you, oh, it's so close to this. If that 3 was a 1, you'd have quad pairs or pair of quads or something. Yeah, you would. But this isn't a pair of quads, so this isn't worth anything. Oh, but it's one off. You're right, it's one off, which means it's not. It's not what it's not double quads, so it's not worth anything. Let's see, ones, threes, and nines on this one. Actually, quad nines. And I was looking here. This is a paper pull. That's not a printing error. That's why I pulled that one out. But it happened to be a trinary, and it happened to be quads. And even with all that, it's still worthless. All right, my stars. Check your stars, checking to see if they are filled stars. They are not. This is a 2017, another 2017, another 2017, 2013 B. Okay, the duplicate range for 2013 Bs is 250000 and less, or 032 to 096, and this is not in the range, so it is not one of the duplicates, so it's not. But this one is 2013 B. Remember, 032 to 096, and this is 056. That's right in the middle. That is one of the duplicate notes. People pay about $20 for these. All right, 2013 star. This is from Virginia. Let's see, another 2013 star, and then we get the older notes. 2003A, 2003A, a little bit better shape. 2003A is rough shape. I pull these because they're 20 years old or older, and I only keep the better ones. But you get to see how many are out there based on these searches that I do. 2003, another 2003, another 2003, rough shape. This one's in good shape for a 2003. Good color, good paper. Another 2003, 2003, 2003. Yeah, a lot of these are out there. 2001, not so many of those. 1999 in rough shape. Bright paper on this 1995. Not plate 295 and not a web note. Another one from 95. And the cool find of the week, I did find a binary. This is 4s and 5s. Those are the only 2 digits that are on there. Was really hoping it would be a radar. It's not. If you start on the outside and work your way in, you've got 5, then 4, and then this side's got a 4, but this side's got a 5. So if that 5 was a 4, or if that 4 was a 5, then it would have been a binary radar. It is not, but binaries, you're still talking, $10, $20 or so on these. They are rare. Compared to trinaries and quads, these are rare. All right, so that's what I found this week. What did I bring out? Well, I brought out the note that I completed a set with. Here we go. 1935G silver certificate with motto star note. Yes, this one is graded by PCGS. It was graded 64 PPQ, which is their premium paper quality note. We can see here it is a 1935G. It is a star note. And the reason for the 64 grading, this is kind of interesting, is look at how wide the top is and how narrow the bottom is. Same thing on this side, how wide this side is and how narrow this side is. This is proof that when you have a note that's off center, it grades less. If this was perfectly centered, it would have gotten the 65. Since it's not centered properly, it only gets a 64. That means it's not worth as much. So I don't know how many times to tell you guys, if a note, this is not an error. Whenever people say notes that are off center like this, they're always trying to claim that they're errors and claim that they're worth a lot of money. They are not. They are worth less. And the cool part about this one is you can see right here, it has the motto, "In God We Trust." Interesting to see the price that was on this one, $235. I have a 1935G regular note with and without the motto, and I had previously had a 1935G star note without the motto. This, as you can see, has a big number on the back. 235 was the number here. I bought this at auction, and this filled the set for me. Some of you may be shocked at that number on the back because it's a silver certificate and it's a star note of a very, very common note. Is that price right? Well, let's look. I have Paper Money of the United States right here. You guys know the book, Paper Money of the United States. Got to show it, otherwise everybody will say, what book was that? So there it is. And if we look at star notes, or if we look at silver certificates, here is the 1935G star, and if we look across, this is without the motto, and it starts at 5, and as you get into a grade 20, it's $10. A 40 is $20, so not very impressive, but when you get into the nicer conditioned, a 63 is $55, and a Gem 65 is $100. That's if you've got a star note without the motto. What's interesting is that the G series, the 35G series, was the transition year. So some of the notes have the motto, some of them don't. Now, I'm always struggling with this one. Okay, first of all, it should have been 2 different series, in my opinion, because you are certainly changing the back plate. But they didn't change it. They let it go. But normally when you print star notes, you print the star notes first, and then you print the regular notes, because if there is an error, you can pull out the error on the regular note and put in the star. That's the whole point of having replacement notes. So you should have printed them first. Well, if you printed the star notes first, that means all the star notes shouldn't have the motto. They were printed first. But as you can clearly see, we go here, with motto, "In God We Trust," added. And when we look, it's still a 35G. And it's a star, and you're talking $15 in a grade 8, $25 in a 12, $50 in a 20. I mean, and that's not even good condition notes. As we go further, once again, you're talking Gem 65 at the end, $250. For a 63, you're talking $175. So between $175 and $250 on that star note. And mine's graded a 64, so it's right in the middle of those. And once again, you saw the price on the back, $235. I didn't pay that price for that note. I just, that was the price that was on there. I'm pretty sure I got that at an auction. But this note fills my set. I now have the regular without the motto, the regular with the motto, the star note without the motto, and now I have the star note with the motto. I tell you guys about those notes all the time, and I'm usually talking about the cheap price, anywhere from $3 to $10, and even in these, $3 to $50. Most of you would never pay $50 for that star note. But I mean, yeah, you can complete this entire set for less than $100. If you're not into the low-priced notes, fine, get the good one. You're talking $100 here, you're talking $250 there. You're completing a set that has historical significance. That's the change. That's the time we went from constitutional money to unconstitutional money. The second they put "In God We Trust" on there, the notes became unconstitutional. The separation of church and state says that the government is not supposed to be enforcing any religion on any person. and for people who simply want to say, well, if you don't believe in God, you can ignore it. Well, that has nothing to do with it. Why put it on in the first place? Nobody had to ignore anything before you put it on there. And when you consider all the other religions on there, would you be offended if it said in Allah we trust? And if you would, well, that's the exact feeling that everybody else other than you has to notes that say in God we trust. So since our money is most certainly put out by the government, for our government to put God on our money is forcing people that don't think like you to have to think like you. Yes, it's very easy to say, just ignore it. Well, why didn't we just ignore it before we put it on there? Because it was no big deal before it was on there. Now it's on there. Now it's the government promoting God, quite literally. So that's the deal with that. All right, guys, if you learn anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.